We're back, baby, and we heard from Jonathan, Gannon, Monti Ossenfort, everything you need to know about the Arizona Cardinals drafting 1 week from today, Johnny Venerable.
It's studio boys. Kelvin Banks Jr. en route. Hard pass, but you know what isn't? PHNX Cardinals live now. Hey, welcome in from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. So PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe, leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable, and no, I'm not being maimed to death. He's Bo Brack.
Wow.
Damon, Dawg behind the mic. It's good to be here in Studio K, feeling the vibes, feeling the love with our presenting sponsor here. Download the Circle K app today. Become a member of the Inner Circle. Visit CircleK.com for more details. How we doing, my guy?
We're good. I'm concerned about you. I really am. Are you all right?
Yeah, we had to knock some dust off. You know, I missed the show on Tuesday. We weren't live yesterday, so yeah, we're getting geared up for it's draft week now. We're just knocking some cobwebs off.
Merv saying that you scared his dog. Frankly, you scared everybody. The entire studio here is shook.
I may not be welcome back after that.
Yeah. Well, you know, we do. It's few and far between. We get you in studio. This is a special day for special boys. Bo, Johnny, Damon. I see Easy Money Chubb. What's going on? Chase, Shaft, Jacob, Mac Daddy, 714, Greedo. He shot. Claymore, Jones, Steven. I see all of you here ready to talk some ball. We missed you. We had like a random Wednesday off so we could not, miss any more Johnny time.
Johnny's back. Daddy's home. So if you count it, if you're scoring at home, we only have one more off day until the big dance, and that's this Saturday. We're going to be live today, tomorrow, Sunday, through next Saturday, and all 7 rounds of our Sweet Baby NFL draft. First of all, I want to commend my co-host, our producer, Damon, Dawg. Tremendous show on Tuesday. A banger of an episode with the likes of Fran Duffy and our sweet prince, Benjamin Albright, just dropping heat left and right. Trayvon Henderson to the Bears. Sign me up for that train wreck. But now we're living in the moment here. And there was an uh-oh moment yesterday on Twitter. And, forgive me if I don't remember who initially posted it. Could have been a rap sheet. Could have been a
It was a rap sheet.
Kelvin Banks Jr., the kind of maligned yet rising tackle prospect out of Texas, is taking a top 30 visit with our precious Redbird, something that we were kind of on bated breath to see. The Cardinals, maybe this is just the week to do it. They already worked out Josh Simmons, so it could be they're checking a box. It could also mean that the Texas standout, and he was a standout. The Cardinals, they scouted that room last year. They got, the right tackle from a year ago in the 5th round. Kelvin Banks Jr. comes in as a firm top 20 prospect, meets with the Arizona Cardinals and Monti Ossenfort.
Right? Because you wanted things to be all, settled on the offensive line. I think they are. This was one they snuck in before the buzzer as prospect visits ended yesterday before Monti Ossenfort and Gannon met with the media, which we'll have highlights of. But Kelvin Banks Jr. is somebody that's been firmly at the left tackle spot his entire collegiate career.
Yeah.
All 3 seasons. It's not somebody like Paris Johnson Jr. He started at right guard and then he popped over to left tackle. And then in his first season in the NFL, he's at right tackle. He popped back over to left tackle. I think anybody would agree Paris Johnson Jr.'s best natural fit is at left tackle. And I don't know if Jonathan Gannon, Monti Ossenfort, new offensive line coach Justin Fry are in the business of messing with that continuity if you're going to bring in Kelvin Banks Jr., you have to have the belief, I think, that he can play right tackle.
I just love how educated our chat is, not to disparage other shows, other broadcasts here locally. You guys get it. I'm seeing it in the chat already. It's like Monty gaslighting, smoke screen.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I think 100% that's what's happening. I don't think the Cardinals are major players for Kelvin Banks Jr. I think if they had to take him, if somehow everybody smartened up in the top 15 and all the premier players were
no
gone,
tight ends, no running backs,
yeah,
one quarterback, right?
We know there are a lot of dumb teams out there, and one of them's run by Ryan Poles, 10th overall, but I digress. I think Kelvin Banks Jr. is a nice prospect. I don't think the Cardinals need him. I don't think the Cardinals love him. I don't think he's a scheme fit. I think Monti Ossenfort is putting it out there, and we'll get to his comments because I think it aligns with this later in the show. Yeah. It's like, hey, come and jump us for Kelvin Banks Jr. Look, look over here. We're interested, right? Or you want to come up and take him, Houston Texans? Give us your second and third round pick. We'll move back to 25. Paris Johnson Jr., in my opinion, is a top 10 left tackle in the NFL. He's only ascending. Kelvin Banks Jr. could play right tackle. It's not a guarantee. And what has Ossenfort and Gannon in particular been so good about, and you brought this up before, Bo, when drafting players, it's like almost to a fault. It's like, Marvin, you're an ex-receiver in college. You're going to play that for us, and we're going to have no movement. And Paris only played right tackle for a smidge of time until DJ Humphries left, and then they shuffled him back over, right? Darius Robin. They want to play guys with their natural scheme positions, right? They don't want to do the Steve Keim, Elmer's glue, where you're just kind of force-feeding, I don't know, a Temple edge rusher and making him play off-ball linebacker. Right. We don't do those things anymore. So while it's not apples to oranges, I don't see a fit here. I think you can get a right tackle, second, third, fourth round, and develop him. If Jalon Williams and Kelvin Beachum are healthy on this roster, like where does he play? What do you do with him?
And the interest, and you touched on this, is kind of they tipped their hand a little bit.
Yeah.
And Ossenfort didn't seem, and unless it was the ultimate smoke screen of all smoke screens, was like, we don't like to mess with our top 30s. They value their top 30s. They've dialed in their process as far as their top 30s.
Yeah.
They do their best to vet these players. It's a tool. It's an information gathering part of this for them. And Kelvin Banks Jr., it seems like it's like, okay, we've talked to about as many of the guys that we wanted to talk to. Let's just throw in one that just break glass in case of emergency situation. CBK made an interesting point just about, he likes Gray's Abel or whatever, and he's kind of surprised that they didn't talk to Gray's Abel. We've got 23 of the 30 visits down. So we don't have all of them. Like, there's 7 visits that the Cardinals held at their facilities. We would assume that they utilized all of them, and that seems like it's a Monti Ossenfort thing to do. We're going to talk to Mike Garafolo next week, right before the draft. We'll see if we can maybe check off a couple more teams before then, if they don't kind of trickle out before. But yeah, I mean, we don't know if they've talked to Zabel or not, and a couple other names that I think you could probably, like Derek Harmon, we're chasing down. Did they talk to Derek Harmon? We'd love to know it. But you said maybe they got enough at the Senior Bowl potentially. It's possible.
Maybe they got enough at the draft. What about a Landon Jackson? What about some of these second-tier pass rushers? Because I mean, they've checked every pass rusher box that we would want to see, save for, what is it, Ezraku from Boston College. So is that an option there? Thank you. I appreciate it. But
your voice cracked it live, but you nailed the pronunciation of
I'm never coming back in here. I just feel like time's up for top 30 visits, I feel like. Like, this is it. This is today, tomorrow, and then that'll be it. I don't think they're going to have top 30 visits in the next week.
No, it's over.
Yeah, so it's done. Yeah. It's done. So we're going to try to squeeze that orange here to see if they got anybody else. I see some people in the chat saying Kelvin Banks Jr., a lot of teams view him as a guard. That's even worse in my opinion. That's even worse. So you're going to take a guy who's never played guard, played tackle, but not the tackle position that you need, move him to guard, and take him 16th overall. I can't think of a worse plan. I can't think of a non-Ossenfort plan a la Steve Keim. Like, that's something Keim would do. That's not Ossenfort's MO. You want to trade down, the board's pick clean. Here's where I'm at. The teams desperately need left tackles. The Cardinals are not one of them. Take advantage of one of those franchises that need that. Look at the teams picking ahead of you. Dallas isn't super secure at that position. Miami, right? San Francisco 49ers. I think Cincinnati every year is going to be in this camp. They took Mims last year. That was a little bit of a hot mess. Like, there are teams that need Kelvin Banks Jr., to his credit, to come in and do exactly what he does best. Play left tackle, a little bit of a finesse player.
Right.
He just does not fit with this team. So I have no issue with if this is just due diligence. This is a smokescreen. But for a team right now, there are much better. If you're dead set on taking a guard, there's much better guards to take. You took Paris Johnson Jr. 6 overall, traded up, gave up assets to do so you could build your franchise around him. You're not taking another left tackle.
Right. And, I mean, our guy, Fran Duffy, is not high in Kelvin Banks Jr. He's got him at, I think, tackle or guard tackle. I think he's got it broken down here, 10. Got him pretty far down. And you look at his arm length, and his build is tackle. You know, you can push him inside if you want, but you talk about, losing value and not being able to maximize, excuse me, as I belch into the microphone, maximizing the 16th overall pick. I think even in a trade down scenario, just based on what prospects would be on the board, like there's a steep fall off from Will Campbell, Mimbu, depending on how you have that ordered.
Yeah.
I actually have it flipped. And then who you have next, because it's like Josh Simmons, who's a guy that you're going to have to wait on the medicals for potentially, but he projects probably be better at the next level than a Kelvin Banks Jr. There's just, it's really fascinating to see like that people have been just lukewarm on Kelvin Banks Jr. And it's just because of the value of the position tackle, left tackle, he continues to be in this first round conversation. I don't see the Cardinals being one of those teams utilizing their 16th overall pick on somebody like him.
It just feels like I think a good solid first round pick that doesn't vibe with this team with where they're at. This was 2 years ago, and the Cardinals somehow were picking 16, and they were shutting it down and building from scratch, and they didn't have Paris on the roster. You can do this. You can take him 16th overall. I just feel like you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole right now. And I get it. If you want to say, well, you should never pass on good players at premium position, it's the rationale we use on Will Johnson. The difference is Cardinals have a need at outside corner. They're not building around Sean Murphy-Bunting. He should never block anybody. And we're told they're trying to find a replacement eventually. And then Max Melton's on the other side. Like, you can upgrade there. You can move people around. Kelvin Banks Jr. has only played left tackle. That's where he should play in the NFL, and the Cardinals do not have an opening at that position. Let's take a look right now at the top 30 visits offensively for the Arizona Cardinals. They're not many, and this is the lone one, including Josh Simmons, that would be worthy of the 16th overall pick. I think Kelvin Banks Jr., of these 6 players, is the only one you could take that high.
Yeah, I agree with that. And this is a very small,
sparse
offensive top 30 visits that have been reported.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like a couple guys, and Simmons and Banks Jr. were guys right before the buzzer that they were able to sneak in. And was it because Monti Ossenfort's like, oh, well, my turn signal has been on the entire time, which direction we're going to go. So let's just throw a little curveball here at the end of this thing. We've got all the information we have.
It really feels
we've
like
had
that's what they're doing.
Pretty banner year of research that they've done from the college football season to because they have all this locked in, and Monty was very complimentary of all the work that was done and heavy lifting beneath him that was being produced from his staff for them to kind of get these guys in there. Like, I don't think this is more of a sign of like, oh, could they actually, while everybody's looking over here, go over here? It just doesn't. I don't get that sense.
We're going to continue to break down the top 30 visits. Hell, let's take a look right now at the hierarchy with the Arizona Cardinals. Love this graphic from Damon, Dawg. We've got now 7 players that we just deem, 7 or 8 players, that we deem worthy of pick 16. Doesn't mean any of them are favorited, but this is the first offensive player based on top 30 visits that you can say is worth it, as we just mentioned, including Jalon Walker, Will Johnson, Mykel Williams, Walter Nolan, James Pierce Jr., Shamar Stewart, and Kenneth Grant. You and I like most of those players. And then the second tier guys, the trade down guys, or the trade up from round 2 into day 2 and day 3 on here. So we'll continue to update this if we get any more names. But right now, I mean, 23 out of 30 paints a pretty clear picture, and that picture is defense, Bo.
Yeah, it does. In like Will Johnson, I think is the exception on the other side of this. When I talked about one with the offensive tackles here, I think Will Johnson is, hey, this is a prospect that the league has kind of shown itself to be iffy on.
Yeah.
If the off chance, the outside chance that he slips to 16, man, does he fit what Nick Rollis and Jonathan Gannon want to do from their cornerbacks? Like a true guy that set up well in zone. Will Johnson, I think, is the one guy that they would do, where we didn't get any reports of Jahdae Barron, who would be the other guy in this conversation. But yeah, it really feels like now, as we're officially a week out, a week out and maybe a half hour from the Titans officially being on the clock. But from these being the names that you need to familiarize yourself with, in Walker and Mykel Williams and Walter Nolan, James Pierce Jr. Hopefully not Shamar Stewart. If you've seen our prospect breakdown, we're not too high on the lack of productivity at Texas A&M, but you love the workouts, you love the measurables. But yeah, I mean, just to have one snuck in there, I think Josh Simmons deserves to be in that 16. I think that's really going to be how the Cardinals view him. And look, if there was one team that has the insider knowledge on Josh Simmons, it's the team that has his position coach in Justin Fry that they just hired this offseason, replaced Clayton Adams.
We're going to be breaking down draft positioning via our friends in Vegas, and just the over-unders as it relates to where folks could fall. There's one that we're going to get to later in the show that's pretty shocking, but I'm just going to throw this tease out right now. Kelvin Banks Jr. draft position. You want to take a guess where it is? The over-under? What in a half? Give me a number and a half that you think that our friends in Vegas have Kelvin Banks Jr.
I'm going to make my guess, and you'll tell me if I'm right on the other side, okay? I'm going to say 23 and a half.
Okay, we're going to get to that right around the corner. Plus, we're going to hear from Ossenfort and Gannon. Stay tuned. It's PHNX Cardinals. Speaking of draft odds, props, and more, you can dabble with our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. The NBA playoffs are in full force. Sans the Phoenix Suns, so they can't hurt you anymore. But if you want to make some money on the diamond, on the hardwood, and more, it's one of the best times to bet in the entire calendar of the sports betting year with our friends at Bet365. 90 million users worldwide, 780,000 events each year. And again, we've got hockey postseason. We've got basketball. No more college basketball, but we've got, how about this, 100% parlay boost. Double your winnings with our friends at Bet365. Download the app. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. So much good stuff right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, bonus code PHNX365, deposit, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets or more. Plus, you got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
Love Bet365. Fire it up for the NBA postseason, and also fire up Timeline. Selling health, longevity supplements. It's going to get you in the right physical shape that you're going to want to. Also, it's going to help you get some good sleep. Don't miss out on what's going on with Timeline. They've got that MitoPure ingredient that's just a game changer. Benefits, they got increased strength, energy, endurance. You feel tired when you're getting home from work and you want to be able to maybe go out, have some fun with your friends, maybe play with your kids, your family. We love it. We love what's going on. The cells in your body, they're like the building blocks for life. And Timeline understands that more so than anybody. They got the patented ingredient, MitoPure. It's a postbiotic nutrient that clears out all the dysfunction mitochondria, aka your cells' battery packs. So they are just stocked and ready to roll here. You're going to be just overflowing with energy. And MitoPure, it recharges those cells, gets your body system to work better. It's a supplement clinically proven to rejuvenate health at the cellular level. Right now, Timeline's giving you 10% off your order of MitoPure. So go to timeline.com/PHNX to get started today. Timeline.com/PHNX. Use the code PHNX at checkout to get that 10% off.
Everybody in the chat, drop a like here. We want to see you at our draft party. It's a week from today. Right now, we're going to be there. We're going to be live on air. And we're going to do it with our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. I want to shout out my guy on Twitter, Braden, coming from, I believe, Atlanta.
Wow.
My guy Braden messaged me earlier today, or excuse me, Alabama. He's coming in from Alabama for the draft party. Excited to see him, excited to party with him, and all of you. Let us know. Are you coming to the draft party? If so, who are you bringing? I want to make a special note because we've been asked about this. Yes, your ticket is all-inclusive in terms of all you can eat, and it comes with 3 drink tickets. You do not have to be 21 years and older to attend. Let me repeat that. You can come and purchase a ticket online right now in the description without being 21. We want to see you there. We're almost at max capacity. We want to see you there. We want to have a blast. Again, Thursday, April 24th, 5 p.m., the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar. You're going to get in earlier than that. We're going to be hanging out, vibing, having a blast. It's the 2025 PHNX Cardinals draft party, Bo.
You can drink all the cola you want, though.
Yeah.
You know, whatever
maybe
that might
iced
be.
Tea.
Yeah, maybe an iced tea if you want to be more, check out the calories.
Yeah,
and
for
not
sure.
overdo the sugar. I like that. But look, you don't have to be 21 to get there, even though, you think casino can't get yourself into that venue, but you can. For this draft party, we're getting everybody in there so we can celebrate what this team's going to do. Another third draft under Monti Ossenfort. Everybody's getting excited. It seems like this roster is pretty primed to really take the next step as an organization.
Okay, so everybody in the chat made it known what they thought, where Kelvin Banks would go. You said, what, 23.5?
Yeah.
You guys couldn't be more wrong. Kelvin Banks Jr., the draft positioning right now via our friends in Vegas, 13.5 plus 165. You get the over on that. The under, how about this? Under 13.5, minus 215. What does that tell everybody? Everybody thinks that the Miami Dolphins are lower. Going to go with our friend Kelvin Banks Jr. So are we having a similar conversation to like Will Johnson, where this is just due diligence?
Yeah.
Because via our friends in Vegas right now, and we're going to share more of these throughout the duration of the show, he is one of the highest ranked players via Vegas in terms of going within the top 14, 15 picks.
But the difference, at least for this show, is Will Johnson, Jalon Walker, guys that are, their total, the over-under where they're going to be drafted.
Yeah.
We'd like those 2 players.
We do.
We don't want Kelvin Banks Jr.
No.
So, Miami Dolphins, let's get that pick in, Damon.
Come on down. Dallas Cowboys. I mean, everybody thinks Jerry's going to take a player from Texas and Matthew Golden. Maybe he just goes Texas offensive tackle. He loved Tyler Guyton last year. Why? Because he went to his alma mater, Oklahoma. So he might just take a local kid. So, Kelvin Banks Jr., the over-under right now, plus 165, which means if you put $100 on plus 165, you win 265 if he falls past pick 13, which is flipping wild, by the way, which is Vegas is basically telling you he is favored to go within the top 12 picks, top 13 picks in this draft. So
I don't know why Vegas thinks the Dolphins are going to pick an offensive lineman so much.
Well, then Armstead retired, right?
They picked a left tackle in the second round last year.
Oh, the kid out of Houston.
Yeah, that's who Albright referenced on our show, that like the Dolphins are very high on him. Essentially, I think that they would be picking a left guard if they use their first round pick on an offensive lineman. Could be the case, but when you're trading Jalen Ramsey, you have 0 corners and you have 0 defensive linemen. I don't know if that's the move.
Charlie corrected me. Yes, Jerry went to Arkansas. I always forget Arkansas and Oklahoma as his alma mater. Let's go through a couple more of these draft positionings because I think they're interesting. Then we're going to get to JG and Ossenfort, Bo. Mykel Williams, we've made it known on this show that we feel like a favorite to go to the Arizona Cardinals, and we've talked about it as such. 15.5 is the over-under for Mykel Williams.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny, the problem is the Cardinals are the 3 teams that are going to be picking succession from the Atlanta Falcons at 15, the Cardinals at 16, and the Bengals at 17.
Mm-hmm.
They all could really benefit from an edge. So,
no doubt.
I mean, we've heard Raheem Morris and the Falcons, they're high on Mike Green. That would be, a blessing from up above if they're going to be one of the teams that thinks, hey, in the right situation, we trust that Mike Green, as far as going from a smaller school and being productive, plus the off the field incidents that he comes along with, the baggage, you would be fully supportive of that. But if the Falcons feel like that's too much, then a guy like Mykel Williams would be perfect if he's even there at 15.
Yeah, he may not be. I'll tell you a player they're pretty confident is going to be there and beyond. And we talked about this before the show, how alarming it is. James Pierce Jr., who we're huge fans of, maybe the league is not as high on the edge rusher from Tennessee. How about this for an over-under? The Tennessee standout, once a top 10 lock, it felt like. The over-under for him, 31.5. So basically, will he be drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles or will he fall to the second round? And again, he could still go higher than that. But man, you've got the under right now at just -110, the over at -120. Pretty alarming that he's favored now to go 32nd or further.
Wow. And it would be nice maybe get a Walter Nolan at 16 and then come back in James Pierce Jr. I think that's probably the play you should make. Anybody who tries to stop that from happening on a mock draft, kind of a jerk.
Yeah, a huge jerk. Huge jerk. Not a good friend. Not a good friend at all. A couple other notables here just for the sake of position needs for the Cardinals. Membu, the over for him, 6.5 at -350. So they're very confident he's going to go 6 or around that space. Mason Graham.
They have him under 6.5 at -350.
They have it right now for Membo over 6.5 -350.
I think
Membo.
they think he's a Jet.
Yeah, for sure. The New York Jets. Let's talk a little bit about Mason Graham over 5.5 -115. That's basically what we've been hearing. He's not going to fall past Jacksonville. Some other names. I mean, Tyler Warren right now is the interesting one. Damon, over under. With the over 9.5, -240. And we've talked about Tyler Warren for months, how teams are stupid, he's not like Brock Bowers, and he's a good prospect. But that falling on the sword with a tight end going top 10, when you can't get, you get plus 185 for the under, and you can't get plus money for him to go over 9.5. Vegas is telling us right now, he's not, they don't think he's a top 10 pick right now. And if he doesn't go to the Jets,
he's not going to go to the Saints, right?
Right.
He's not going to go to the Bears.
He's not going to go to the Niners.
I think he could go to the Bears.
It'd be an egregious pick.
Wouldn't that be insane?
Aren't they paying Cole Kmet pretty decent money?
Yeah, but they're the Bears. I think that they're looking at a running back pretty heavily right now at number 10. So I don't know. I feel like there's some smoke to Tyler Warren.
Bears, there was a slight time during this pre-draft where they were talking the right thing. They could still, at the end of the day, do the right thing and take a tackle there and really set themselves up for success. And the fact that it's going back to running back.
It's like me with my sweet treats. Where it's I have all the good intentions, and then it's those Skittles, those gummy bears, those running backs, those tight ends, the H-backs. They're calling the names of Greg Braggs Jr. and company. Here's another one I want to put on your guys' radar. So Mike Green over 17.5 at -130. And then how about this one? This is an interesting one here. So Ashton Jeanty plus 120 over 6.5. The under 6.5 is -150. So they think Jeanty could be interesting. Not necessarily predicting him to fall a little bit, but it does feel like, to your point, Chicago Bears are going to take Jeanty if he's there.
Oh, yeah.
The Chicago Bear, that's as far as
he just feels. I just believe our guy Benjamin Albright, who quadrupled whatever down on Ashton Jeanty being a Raider. Yeah. He feels like that's going to happen. I think Jordan Schultz believes that's going to happen. Guys that have insight as far as the inner workings of Vegas. They're pretty have a ton of conviction that that's the pick in Ashton Jeanty. And Schultz was saying today he thinks they're sleeping on Jeanty at 6.
My God. And then Trayvon Henderson, Hampton being a possibility. The Trayvon Henderson hype train where he suddenly went from a fringe, first round pick, solid day 2 pick to could go 10th overall to the Chicago Bears. If you've ever wanted to see Bears Twitter, Chicago sports burn to the ground and then have to talk themselves into a player, I like Trayvon. He's not Jahmyr Gibbs,
right?
But the Jahmyr Gibbs comps are going to be gross. You're going to have to force feed him a lot of people's way. So I want the Bears to do what the Chicago Bears do and are disrespectful to a fault. Don't take their vegetables. But the Tyler Warren thing is concerning. I see people in the chat saying, maybe he'll go to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
That probably is about his floor, I think.
When we talked to Fran Duffy a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I said, he had Genty and Warren as guys he felt very confident saying they're going to be off the board by the time the Cardinals are picking. Yeah. Not us wondering, could they be options for the Cardinals? Absolutely not. But more so, is it going to push another player down to the Cards?
We'll see. We're going to find out. We'll continue to give you these odds as they're made available to us right around the corner. Monti Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon talk about the draft strategy. Are top 30 visits overrated? Well, they're doing them, so I guess not. That and more, it's coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals. But first, big shout out to our presenting sponsor today, our friends here. It's Circle K Studio K. I'm surrounded by the Studio K love, and I don't love anything more than saving money at America's Thirst Stop. Join the Inner Circle for free right now. So easy to download. There you see it on the screen. Download the app. All you got to do, you got an email, you got a phone number, you're going to be saving money at the pump. Just enter your phone number, enter those digits, and save 25 cents per gallon your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day after the fact. You can see here, it's not just here. We've got an array of snacks and goodies available, and you're going to be saving on them right now exclusively with the Inner Circle. Thirst has met its match. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com, Bo, for more details.
Man, love that. Also love what's going on with our friends over at Sanderson Ford. Sanderson Ford, of course, they got the employee pricing going on, which is unreal. You can get the same price as their CEO gets over there. How about David Kimmerly? They got the president of America's most awarded Ford dealership, Sanderson Ford. Ford just announced that for America employee pricing, now you pay what he pays in the full lineup of Fords with no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense, added markups that you always have to deal with. Got to go talk to my manager. I'll see if I can pull this off. And then they somehow come up with a bigger number. Don't deal with that any longer. Go over to Sanderson Ford out in the West Valley. Choose Sanderson because they have the inventory and a 70-year reputation treating you right. Ford is undeniably the most America-first automaker in the world. 80% of the vehicles Ford sells assembled in factories located in America, and they are less affected by tariffs. Now is the time to buy a new Ford from America for America with that employee pricing. Check it out right now. They were awesome. They were out there. They tried to give us a truck during the PHNX golf tournament, but nobody was, awesome enough to nail it from about 165 yards out. But check that out and check out everything going on over at Sanderson Ford.
Love our friends at Sanderson Ford. Love everybody in the chat. Drop a like on this video. I'm going to tell you right now, we're running an exclusive offer for our diehards. People re-upping and our newbies alike. Half off right now. Become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. We've welcomed a slew of new diehards. This is an exclusive deal right now. If you become a diehard right now, you're going to pay, what, $36 for the entire year? I'm not a mathematician, but what is that, like $3 a month for the entire month? It's going to comp you a free piece of merch at gophnx.com, the merchandise locker. We want to see you. If you become a diehard, tag us on Twitter, immediate retweet, immediate follow from the Beat account. Plus, if you want to double dip here, become a diehard. Then you're going to save 20% off for all events like, I don't know, the PHNX Cardinals draft party a week from today. Do it now. Become a diehard. The Discord is always popping off. The celebratory tee, I believe limited quantities are still available, plus a ton of great stuff. I've got so much quality items and merchandise that we've gotten that we pay for from gophnx.com. You can get a t-shirt for free right now. Become a diehard. Don't hesitate today, Bo.
No, it's an unbelievable deal. $36, $3 a month, and you get full access to the site. You got that entrance into the exclusive member Discord.
Yep.
You're chatting up just like you're chatting here during live shows, but it never stops. It's 24/7, and all those discounts going on. Like I saw, we're giving away, or we've got an option at the draft party. It's the Swing Suite.
Ooh.
It's basically a VIP option. And you could use your diehard pricing for that. Get 20% off.
Sounds great to me.
You got 6 friends. You get in there and get a steal of a deal. If you got a group of people that want to go to the draft party next week, this might be the best option for you.
Plus, again, if you didn't hear already, the draft party, you can be any age to attend. We want to see you next week, and we want to see you in the Discord. We saw you yesterday in Tempe chatting with JG and Ossenfort. What can you tell us? Because I feel like there was some buzz around both guys where you feel like now settling into a groove here, third draft en route, playing with house money.
Yeah.
Ossenfort, Gannon, what were your takeaways?
I mean, JG was his normal self, came in just on fire.
Yeah.
Just yelling, hooting, and hollering. Excited to, I guess, talk to us, the media. I don't know if that's true, but I think he's more excited that he's he was at the time just over a week away from draft night, which JG said was, the only thing that really could kind of rival what game days are like. But, talk to the brain trust. I don't know. I must have been nervous or something. I accidentally called Gannon Johnny.
No, you didn't.
I did.
What did he say about that?
I quickly corrected myself.
Did he catch you?
I think he nearly threw me out of the press conference.
Wow, I didn't see this. Shocking development.
My first question, I don't know if I was a little nervy or what it was, but I said, Monty, Johnny, this is two... either one of you could answer this, and then Jonathan, I doubled back, made sure.
Just kind of you and JG are just kind of tight like that.
Can you imagine if I started calling either because he goes by Jonathan or JG, and I'm just like, hey Johnny, how you feeling about the 16th overall?
That feels like I'm trying to be forced out, like of our friendship, and there's not a quicker way to force me out than literally calling Jonathan Gannon Johnny Gannon, and then there's only room for one Johnny.
I just get the sense that he doesn't want to be Johnny Gannon.
No, he doesn't.
No,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Some of us can wear that crown, that burden, but
yeah.
JG, he can remain JG. It's a good nickname.
Yeah, but here's a couple of highlights from yesterday's press conference. How about Monti Ossenfort? Talking about draft night vibes. Monti Ossenfort is a guy that it's been pretty well documented that he thrives on draft night, especially working the phones. He was asked by Nick of AZ Family if that's something that he really enjoys, and here's his answer.
I love it. I love it. It's cool. It's that's why we work over a year for that night. And no, I mean I got a lot of help in there. A lot of guys that have done this a long time and have taken those calls and really. It's taking in the information and it's weighing it and saying, hey, if we do this, the opportunity cost of this trade is this player, but we pick up this. And I think it's just, I think we have a sound process of how we go by, filtering through that information. But it's awesome. It's a fun night.
That's the kind of guy you want building your roster that thrives in those situations. You saw it on full display in his first draft where he's maneuvering the draft board down, back up. And then he did it in the rounds after that. He's traded down in each of the 2 second rounds that he's been a part of. Monti Ossenfort, he like this is his moment is next week. This is what he prepares for. Like he's been on record saying he wants this team to be drafted and developed. This is his baby. This is where he's going to do his best work.
It's his time to shine. Like Sag saying, Monty's on another level. Bidwell's lucky to have him. I know that the feeling is like Cardinals were smart. They made some smart hires 3 years ago, but a lot of luck was involved. Gannon, Ossenfort, some people turned down opportunities to interview, turned down the job. Ossenfort was not the first choice.
Yeah.
Ian Cunningham didn't want to interview with this. I mean, like there were multiple people who are not general managers right now. Some have since been fired. Hello, Ron Carthon. Monti Ossenfort's sticking around because he's good at his job. He should be playing with house money and cachet right now because he had a hell of a free agency. March and early April, that was a great period for Monti Ossenfort. Now he can get back to doing what he does best, and that's building this team through the draft. What else do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, Jacob's saying I'm going to be pissed if they trade down. Monty, of course, the last couple of drafts, he had the 3rd overall pick and the 4th overall pick. But, with Marv, in that spot, there were 3 quarterbacks that were projected early to go off the board. So he had the pick that was either you're going to come up and get that 4th quarterback. You want the best non-quarterback in the draft. He decided to stick and pick. 16's a different animal. Has he taken any trade calls? The GM of the Cardinals answers that.
No, and that's not unusual. Like those, I mean, like a lot of people make calls this time of year and there's nothing substantive to them until it's amazing what being on the clock actually does. So that'll happen next Thursday.
It's tough because, like, you mentioned it. 3rd overall, they trade down. just we're in asset mode. Give us all the picks, but we still want to end up with Paris. Last year, you had a safety net in 27th overall, where you didn't need to trade down unless you were going to take the Minnesota Vikings for all they're worth. And we had talked about that ad nauseum. This year, I do think firmly it's their preference to trade down. I think this is the year to do it because the talent is so, save for somebody falling. We've talked about those players ad nauseum. Save for somebody falling that we don't expect. Like, there's not a huge difference between a bunch of these guys in our hierarchy. But it's a big reason why I think it's smart to bring in Kelvin Banks Jr. to entice teams, right? 13.5 over under via Vegas. Like, I think Ossenfort in a perfect world would jump down about 5 to 7 spots, would recoup a premium day 2 pick, and take BPA at top 30 visit guys defensively, 23, 24, 25. Now, it's easier said than done, but when you go into a draft with a mindset like that, I do have confidence that if he wants to trade down, he can do it.
That'd be sweet music.
Yeah.
And it would be for a third draft where he's just straight cooking, right? I mean, that's you have full amount of confidence. I know it was a little bit of a sludge there, especially in the 3rd round last year where they had all these picks, but he was asked multiple times, I think, was he content having 6 picks? He didn't really want to get into that, but you do get the kind of overwhelming sense that he's confident in his board, enough so to where the other teams might not be so, and they've got their eye on 1-2 players, and they'd be willing to give him capital in order to get up, and he could go out and really kind of stock himself up again. It might be, an extra, like a premium day 2 pick, like you mentioned, or it could be like a day 2 pick and then maybe something in the future, and he'll set up future drafts and continue to just flush this roster with top players.
What else we got from our battering ram?
You were very complimentary to the franchise quarterback. Was it last week that we talked to Kyler?
Yeah,
seems like forever ago. So you were complimentary about Kyler's ability to pick good players, NFL players in the draft, right? Tristan Wirfs, CeeDee Lamb, just to name a few. Creed Humphrey, who he played with at Oklahoma, but. I asked Monti Ossenfort, now that he's in year 3, is there more comfortability from the players to come kind of talk to him about, what players they like in the draft?
Yeah,
this is his answer.
You mean our players, bro? Yeah, you know what? I let the head coach deal with the players that have their opinions, and I typically walk out of his office when he starts telling me what our guys think. But no, it's all in good fun. Our players, listen, our players have been a lot of help in free agency. Our players care. And that's awesome. Like these guys, we bring in college guys, and our players are great about meeting these guys and chopping it up with them in the lunchroom. I love listening to our players just talk and getting their input. But come Thursday night, I think we'll probably handle whose name we're pulling off there.
I'd be shocked beyond belief if they chose a player 16th overall or whomever they took with their first pick, if they traded down or up and it wasn't a top 30 guy. I just don't see a scenario in which they would have all of this time and resources and availability to bring somebody in, and really that's where Gannon shines, to be able to put this guy in a room with your head coach and drill them for 60 minutes plus. That's a mandate for this franchise. It's not a mandate. Rams don't screw around with it. They have their own way of thinking. I just can't see it. They're going to draft with their first pick one of these top 30 guys.
Yeah, it's a great point. And you love to hear Ossenfort that these players in the offseason are dialed in. Yeah. I know it was like a silly question. He made a few jokes and stuff, and that's great.
Yeah.
But from our conversation with Kyler, he's sitting there and he's roasting Jahad Campbell.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to blow him grief and see how he handles it, right? And Gannon and Rollis and everybody on that staff is trying to see how these guys react.
Yeah.
It's nice because not only does it say that these guys are at the facility, like when Paris Johnson Jr. came back, it was like that wasn't the first time he met Kyler Murray.
Right.
Like there was some familiarity, a familiar face. And that these players, they do care, like what the organization is doing.
Yeah.
They don't want to just sit back. Can you imagine Isaiah Simmons? You think he was hanging out with people in the pre-draft process?
You wouldn't let Isaiah Simmons. I'm not saying this to be negative. If this was the unit that would have hosted him, if this is 2020, and they would have had a top 30 visit, and let's just remove COVID. I don't know if those were possible then. And you brought in Isaiah Simmons with Gannon and Ossenfort, that visit would last about 5 minutes before they knew, like, yeah, this is not an option for us. We cannot be.
It'd be like what Aaron Rodgers was talking about at his conference with Aaron Glenn.
That's exactly how it would go. Thanks for coming. See ya.
At the facility, like a total of like 40 minutes.
Yeah. Isaiah Simmons would walk in the building, try to big time everybody. And this franchise, for better or worse, with the people involved, can sniff out frauds and people who do not love football. You can't, over the course of a 3-hour job interview, you can't fake it with those two people involved.
Yeah.
And like, we can't predict injuries and medicals and things that happen. And maybe guys hit a ceiling earlier than you thought. But I just feel like, and this might seem outlandish to say, the days of like outright bust for this franchise where it's just like, that guy cannot play. I just feel like we have a much better grasp on that now.
Yeah. Hit that like button for, of course, this show at Monti Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon. We'll wrap it up here with this. I asked him, obviously wanted to work on a Trey McBride question because we didn't get to talk to the GM after McBride signed the deal. We talked to Trey himself. But just what that kind of signified for players entering the organization. And I know they don't usually have a choice, and Ossenfort outlines that. But just what that signifies. This was Monty's answer.
I mean, I think here's what I think it helps, Bo, is you're right. Like, you know, come next week, they don't really have a choice. You know, like the guys we pick are coming. You know, so hopefully, hopefully. But you know, I think what it does do is, you know, whether we're talking about Trey or Buddha or JC or Zaven or Fro, you know, I think a little bit it goes to those guys. Those guys understand what we're trying to do here, and those guys have been leaders in what we're trying to do here, and those guys are going to continue to be at the forefront of what we're trying to do. And to see those guys, you know, continue to put forth the effort and do what they're doing, I think it sends a good message to, you know, everyone in the organization. And you know, again, I keep going back to it, but you know, good players and good people, like, we can't go wrong, and we're fortunate to have a lot of those in our locker room now. We're going to add some more of them next week, and that's what it takes. And so, you know, talented people performing at a high level and doing things the right way, you know, we can never go wrong, and we're gonna continue to add those type of people.
I mean, you listen to him talk, and we spend time talking about maybe set of circumstances for certain guys.
Yeah.
The closer we get to it, it's like the players that have a lick of just off the field concerns, it's like those guys have an uphill battle with this franchise. Like, if all things are equal, will they take Derek Harmon over Walter Nolan? If all things are equal, will they take Mykel Williams over James Pierce or whomever you want to, you know? And then certainly Mike Green not even getting the top 30 visits. Like, they want to be able to say, like, those are trench hole guys that we never have to worry about off the field. And listen, we're not fortune tellers. You can't foresee what happens 3 to 5 years down the line, but there's a type. They have a type. Marvin, Paris, Darius. I'm just going to use the first 3 picks in the first round the last 2 years. You never have to worry about off the field, barring something unforeseen.
Yeah, it's the Cards, as far as the brain trust of Ossenfort and Gannon, were kind of questioned about how can they figure out what's in the guy's head, what's in the guy's heart, you know, obviously beyond the tape, beyond the measurables, the workouts and stuff like that. And I do believe that they've been able to crack that. Like, they haven't really missed character-wise on players. Now, do guys develop like they wanted them to do? Like, is John Gaines the second going to be a starting guard in here? Like, you know, you could forecast, even though he's a great guy in the locker room and willing to do whatever's asked of him. But even the free agents that they brought in that you haven't been too high on, from a Sean Murphy Bunting, he's still a guy that keeps a pretty level head on his shoulders and remains a leader in that locker room. And there's something to that, because, like, ultimately, like, and I'm sure the statistics would prove this, regardless if you go premium position, you go first round and you're talking about that next deal. Yeah. You're talking about that 5th-year option. I think we're hitting at about a 500 rate right now. Yeah. Like, you could do everything perfect, and like the character could be there, the position, you know, premium position could be there, and you're still not picking up that 5th-year option because the player doesn't merit that big deal, that 5th year.
Jalon Walker asking in the chat. I just caught this.
Jalen Blair?
Yeah, Jalen Blair. Excuse me. I would love Jalon Walker also being in our chat. Was Derek Harmon at the Senior Bowl? I believe, yes, he was. And we're going to ask Mike Garofalo next week when he joins us for the final days of pre-draft prep. Where was Derek Harmon's top 30 visit? Is it one of the 7 that we don't know? And if you just joined us live, here is the update. Let's pull up the hierarchy if we could, Damon. The latest and greatest. These are 23 of the Arizona Cardinals' top 30 visits that we are aware of and where we believe the team could conceivably use the pick. Now, I know maybe James Pierce Jr. gets moved out of 16. I'm not comfortable with that. What about Kenneth Grant, right? There are some names like of the pick 16, hierarchy here in terms of where we're consistently seeing guys. Walker, Johnson, Williams, Nolan, and probably now Kelvin Banks Jr. Are ahead of Kenneth Grant, Shamar Stewart, and, of course, James Pierce Jr. Just based on mocks and rankings.
Yeah. Who's ahead of those guys?
I would say Shamar Stewart,
Yeah.
James Pierce Jr., and Kenneth Grant are fringe top pick 16 guys, whereas Jalen, Will, Mykel Williams, Walter Nolan, and now everything we're seeing. Kelvin Banks is one of the fastest risers in this draft right now. It's undisputed. Well, I know. Listen, that's what makes.
I think Nolan has a chance to be in that group that you just mentioned as far as falling, not being considered 16th. Just going off of.
But see, you're making my point now. You almost have to trade down at this point. You have to go. I know people don't want to pass on a great player. There's so many players that fit in this bubble. And your interview with Benjamin Albright, it's fantastic. I encourage everybody to check that out from Tuesday, where Benjamin Albright said something to the effect of like the first, handful of picks are super predictable, and it's going to be one of the most unpredictable drafts ever and least accurate mock drafts ever because all these guys compare to each other.
Yeah. There's just a bunch up, about 12 to 15 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you capitalize on that? Because Monty's not the only smart GM. There's a lot of dumb GMs, and you like to take advantage of that. Yeah, and he alluded to that. As far as getting the phone call in the war room, and you look at your caller ID, and you know what to expect. Is this going to be good, or is this going to be somebody wasting your time or trying to pull one over?
Yeah.
But I mean, there is going to be some teams out there who have identified guys, and as we said, from Atlanta. With the Cardinal sandwich in between them and the Bengals, if you want an edge and you've got a certain guy, you've identified, you have to get up and get ahead of those teams, or at least Cincy.
One name that we feel like is a lock top 10 pick and may have his team already, decided upon because they can't shut up about it. The Carolina Panthers and Jalon Walker. This is from JC Horn's Instagram. We grabbed this. This was grabbed earlier, so it could have been taken down now. Just the players on the Carolina Panthers just actively feeding the flames of, yes, my team's taking an edge rusher. Yes, we want to take Jalon Walker. This is after Kay Adams basically undressed their GM head coach combination on air and got them to admit they were taking defense. So Jalon Walker, I don't think this is a smoke screen. I don't think that the Panthers are very smart. I think that this is where he's going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Jacksonville isn't a wild card, it's oh, okay, well, we'll show you. We're going to do the funniest thing on draft night and take them ahead of you. And you guys, you're just going to be looking foolish. And it'd be bad news for the Cardinals because I think the Panthers would probably pivot to Walker's teammate, Mykel Williams, in that situation.
Yeah. So Jalon Walker, I mean, he was the top 30 pick. Say hello and goodbye because he's one of the fastest risers Kelvin Banks Jr. in this draft. We got some super chats to hit. Anything else you want to hit before we grab those?
No, I think we're all set as far as that goes. We do have do you want to get into the new diehard member?
Yeah, we have a newest diehard in the chat. Welcome, Joey. Joey just became a diehard. We appreciate you, Joey. So if you're on Twitter, drop us a comment. If not, if you're just living in the YouTube space, we appreciate you, brother, nonetheless. But welcome to the community. Jump in that Discord and be like Joey. We got it right now. $36 for the entire package of a full year. Become a diehard right now. Go PHNX.com. Free piece of merch. And of course, you're going to get 20% off all events like our draft party. I know Brian was in the chat talking about saving money via the draft party. getting a t-shirt, right? We appreciate all of our diehards. We appreciate everybody here in the chat, but we promise you're not going to find a better deal around in terms of content, entertainment, deals, merch, whatever you need. $36 a month. Reezy baby, $2 super chat, getting things started. 1 week till JPJ and Donovan Jackson hold the line. I'd love that.
You get an SEC ass kicker as far as the pass rush, and you get a versatile offensive line piece. Donovan Jackson, obviously, some familiarity. His position coach, Cardinals offensive line coach now, Justin Fry. I like it, Reezy baby.
Hearing some Donovan Jackson buzz in the first round recently.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can see it.
Just, getting that fifth-year option on an offensive lineman that people like a lot. And
they view him as a guard, though?
I think so, yeah. Donovan Jackson, a guard. But it was an Ari video where he said Kelvin Banks and Donovan Jackson are two of the biggest risers right now in the draft process.
If I'm a GM, do I want a kid who played for the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes and is, I think, going to be a plus player, or do I want a kid who played at North Dakota State? I mean, it just and again, it's all about the prospect. It's not about the helmet, but the competition matters too. Here's Charlie Sinclair being a smartass like only he can. 199 in the chat. Gray Zabel at 16. Who says no? Literally everyone. Literally everyone will say no.
You think he's saying that? You don't think he means that sincerely?
No.
Gray Zabel is a Charger.
That
feels like a Charger.
Yeah, it does feel like a Jim Harbaugh move.
Or Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant makes it that far. Gray Zabel, listen, I'm probably going to have egg on my face. There were some guys I didn't like last year that had good rookie years. Let's see him this year. I'm sure Gray Zabel is going to be fine. I just don't. No guards at 16, please. Can we not?
Libertarian Sasquatch 199. Thank you, LS. The future on right tackle is gross. I don't disagree with that. Jonah Williams, you wanted to see a little bit more from him. He had 2 injuries that he suffered, in week 1 and then way later in the season against Carolina. And then you got Calvin Beachum at 36 years old. So there is no kind of future right tackle there. Christian Jones is somebody I think they wanted to take a few more strides than he did last year, despite playing decently against the Niners in the finale. But there wasn't a ton of pressure that was ratcheted up against the offensive line that day. So absolutely, I think that later in the draft, they will address the offensive line and maybe bring in a developmental guy. But with that, you have the risk that you see with Gaines, that you see with Jones. They don't always pan out. They're guys that it's kind of a lottery ticket kind of situation.
Bees, you'll be seeing a new face in the Die Hard Discord. Hell yeah, Bees. We appreciate you, Bees, one of our earliest supporters, not only of PHNX Cardinals, but PHNX Sports in general. We appreciate you, Bees. Can't wait to see you. I would say it's overdue, but you come be a diehard when you're good and ready, everybody in the chat. But now's the perfect time. $36. Reezy baby, $5. Or let's get Bees first. Long overdue, but I became a diehard today. PHNX fan. Took the words right out of my mouth. Well, Bees, we appreciate you, my friend. Nonetheless, and we'll see you in the Discord.
Yeah, if you've been kind of, dragging your feet a little bit on it, we understand. Like, it's your hard-earned money. It's
absolutely.
It's not nothing. As we said, like $3 a month, but it gets you done for $36 for the year. We're going to do everything within our power to make sure you love your diehard account. If you've been thinking about it, go in and get it done, and you're going to love the community you're already seeing here in the chat, talking Cards ball for an hour and a half, but 24 hours a day, and it's fantastic. Reezy baby. Love Reezy baby. Texas A&M guys, Greater Georgia guys in round 1. I promise you, stay away from Jalon Walker and Mykel Williams.
I mean, that's certainly a take. Listen, that's what the draft's about. You could very well be right, Reezy baby. And here's what I know from people we trust. This is a Jonathan Gannon pick. This is a Jonathan Gannon defensive edge, D-tackle pick. You can rest assured he's locking himself in a room and watching hundreds of hours of tape with Nick Rawls to see, who's the best player, but then who can we make the most out of in our scheme, right? So I trust this franchise because I trust the head coach, and he knows defensive linemen.
You guys are crushing the super chats, by the way.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
A little late barrage here. Vic R 199. Shamari Simmons out of ASU, another top 30 visit. We'd have to see if that was a local or if that was a true top 30.
Yeah, I mean, listen, quality player on a great team.
Simmons was the guy that was suspended for the first half in the Peach Bowl,
and that really impacted. That really impacted them. defensively. He's a great college player. I don't know what his ceiling is as a pro, but the Cardinals, they love taking late round safeties. No issue with that.
They said he was good at the Shrine Bowl too.
Oh, okay.
I guess he had a really good week over at the East-West Shrine Bowl practices. So, kind of one of those guys, like you said, like really good college player.
Yeah.
Who knows if it'll translate, but certainly like to see him, perform well at one of those All-Star games.
If the Cardinals take an issue player on day 3 and it's not Cam Skattebo, though, I'm gonna lose my you-know-what. Panda with Wings, X, $2. What is Jihad Campbell's over-under? Please don't say 16. It is not. When I checked, Panda with Wings, great call out. It was either 18 or 19 and a half. So it's still way too close for comfort.
Yeah.
We're still dodging bullets right here, right? But it's not 15 and a half. Like, hey, can we stop that? Can we get out of here with that national media? Matthew Golden, Jihad Campbell, Gray Zabel. Goodbye. I don't want to do that. Please no.
Just check Monti Ossenfort's draft record.
Yeah.
It's over under 18 and a half.
Wow.
And he's minus 225, I will say, for the over. I think, I think the Bucks,
think he's going over.
The Bucks are at 19.
Yeah.
I know the Bucks are plus 175 to take a linebacker. I think that seems like a good match if potentially right there.
How about Brian?
Yeah, let's see Brian.
Wishing me well here. Sounded a little congested, a little stuffed up. It is allergies, but look, I'll be good to go a week from today. Nothing's going to stop me from that. Can't wait till the draft party. Trenches round 1.
Brian, we can't wait to see you, my guy. Bo might even sneeze in your food if you ask him to at the draft party. No, I'm just kidding. Brian, one of our biggest supporters, we appreciate you. I appreciate this tandem here holding it down because I'm not missing any more shows en route to the big dance. We're live mañana, breaking it down on a Football Friday. Could have some new information, but regardless, probably do a little Sweet Baby mock tomorrow. What do you think about that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's update our top 5, right?
Yeah, we're going to do our Big 5 tomorrow.
Big 5, sorry. Yep.
The Big 5.
Ooh.
We got a couple more Super Chats here. Let's grab them. One of them, Grigson480, 199. JV is draft Cam Scat or die. Yeah, I'm what you like to call ride or die with
You're
Cam
going
Skattebo.
Patrick Henry on that?
Yeah, and
Give me scat or give me death?
There's been a lot of like scat negativity from national people. Continue to bring that energy because number one, I hope it attributes to him falling in the Cardinals' lap at the sweet spot. And number two, I think, at the end of the day, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I think he's going to be doing plenty of punching this summer at OTAs with whatever team he's at. So rookie mini camp. This is an elite football player, elite college football player. You want draft prospects be damned. Like this was an elite college football player. I want those on my team, as Kyler Murray said on this podcast.
Yeah, elite football player, elite college football player. He's gonna dominate OTAs, and he'll be a preseason Pro Bowler. I guarantee it.
Oh my God, Cam Skattebo in the preseason, eject it right now. I've never needed it anymore.
That's the only thing that could get people to watch.
Jacoby Brissett hands it off to Cam Skattebo. Oh my God,
He's in the backfield.
We would treat the preseason post games like real post games if that was the case.
Yeah, they might rival some numbers.
I'll travel
if he plays well.
I'll go to the away game.
Yeah, but Bo will be traveling. Johnny will be like, who else on the X Factor? It's Cam Skattebo, 3 touchdowns, 85 yards.
2.6 yards per carry.
Damn you. Any more Super Chats, Damon? All right, let's do it. Everybody drop a like. We've had a banner week of shows. We're going to continue the fun mañana. Again, let's get this show to 300 likes here. Big thanks to Bo, Damon, everybody here.
Let's just we'll set the appointment now. I saw people asking Cards After Dark on Sunday, no doubt about it.
Yes,
it's going down. We'll wait to watch The Last of Us an hour later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is the first of us, the first of many of us here en route. $2. PHNX Cards is not allowed an off day. Thanks, guys. Absolutely. That was our last weekday off day for some time. And again, of course, we're going to drop content all weekend long. 403 watching live right now. Let's get 400 plus likes here on a Football Thursday. We just crossed 39K on YouTube.
Wow.
Get us to 40K. That sweep 40 before the NFL draft. But regardless, become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. For Damon Bo, I'm Johnny. Like this video. We'll see you on Friday.
We all silly like the mayor.